Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we'll be making this lovely gown for our princesses. In this channel we'll make beautiful styles for our baby girls. If it's something that you are interested in, please watch to the end, and I will see you at the end of the video. Welcome. If this is your first time of stopping by, I say welcome. You're highly welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and nice meeting you for the first time. To my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all you do to support this channel. I really appreciate it. So for this style, I'll be folding my fabric into four. I'll be cutting the front and the back measurements together. So I'm going to, when you look at the folding, you see that I have extra inches allowance, extra 1 inch allowance at where I am now for the zipper allowance, and I'm supposed to mark the neckline there before any other cutting, but I marked at the wrong side. That's why I cancelled now. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So from that center front is where I'm going to take my measurement, which I took my neckline for 2.5 inches width by 3 inches depth. Then I went ahead to take my shoulder measurement, which is 6 inches, 12 divided by 2, 6 inches, and that same 6 inches is what I'm going to go down with for my armhole depth, and that is the line I just marked. And the last two lines you are seeing is the half length measurement, which is 11 inches plus 1 inch allowance for joining. So at my armhole line, I hope you are following though, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust measurements with my allowance with 1.5 inches allowance, and I also marked my waist measurement, and I connected my armhole to meet the bust point. Then I'm going to go ahead by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and that's what I just marked, and that's it for the cutting. And remember, the cutting is going to start from the center front, not here that I'm cutting now. That's the zipper allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my neckline, the back neckline, so that I can cut both together before I separate them and then cut the front part. I hope you are enjoying this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below for me. I don't know if the two markings, the mistake I made earlier, is confusing. I wanted to remove it, but on the second thought I said let me leave it so that you guys will know as well that we also make mistakes sometimes. So it's not nobody's above mistake. Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. So for the down part, I'm going to be cutting, also folding into 4 as well. I'm going to fold my fabric into 4. That's 1 for the back and 1 for the front. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the remaining measurement. That's 30 inches minus, which is my length, minus 11 inches for the half length. I have about 19 inches remaining. Then I'm going to add 2 inches allowance for the joining and for the folding, and that's what I marked here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So because the fabric is folded into 4, that means I have front and the back. So I'm going to separate them to have 2 fabric. That's for the front and for the back. And also for the back one, I folded it into 2, and I divided it into 2 because of the zipper allowance at the center. So I'm going to have 2 at the back as well. So for the sewing part of the style, I'm going to first of all join the 2 shoulders together. I'm going to align the front and the back piece together, and then join the 2 shoulders. And this is it after joining the shoulders together. And lest I forget, I'm using a lycra I'm using a crepe material for the style and ankara for the design. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the neckline. So I'm going to, this is about 1.04 inches of fabric. So I'm going to sew this one first, where I'm pinning down now. I'm going to go ahead and sew this and stitch this round round the neck, and then turn it, cover the rough edges, and then turn it again and stitch down. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I just said let me show you guys how I turn my neckline, and I'm going to sew this down throughout, and then also do the same for the armhole. So this is it after turning it, the neckline and the armhole. After turning it, so the next thing I'm going to do is to plait this, the down part of it. For the front one, what I did is to notch the center of the bodice and center of the fabric I'm going to use to plait these two centers together. You can as well use your pin to secure the two center. This is just to make sure that I have two uniform, not uh, uniform size of fabric at each side. So I'm going to go ahead and plait it just the way I'm going to do it now. And when you look at the plating inside it, that's at the wrong side, it's going to have kind of a kissing plate there. So that's what you are going to do to get this plating. Then at the right side of it, it will be like a big bow plate and it, but at the wrong side it will be more like a kissing plate there. So that's what how you're going to do it to get the plate. And then I did the same thing for the back one as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Hit on the subscribe button, please. Don't leave today without subscribing. Give me a thumbs up as well. Share my videos please to family and friends. And so this is it after I was done plating it. I'm going to go ahead and flip it, so that the right side will be facing the right side of the bodice, and then I'm going to go ahead to my machine and then stitch this to the bodice. And I'm going to do the same thing for the back. Like I said, I'm going to notch the center of the of the bodice, and then the center of the one I'm going to use to plait this. I didn't show you for the front part, so I said to show this at the wrong the back one, so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Then I'm going to go use my pin to hold this together, so I'll have a uniform inches of fabric at each side of it. Then I'm going to go ahead and plait it just like I did for the front part. So this is it after I was done stitching it down. This is the back one and the front one as well. I'm done stitching the two down, so I'm going to go ahead and for the next step, which is using my pin to hold down the back side of the bodice, because I don't want to attach the zipper now because of this the Ankara fabric on it. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this with my with my pins. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to open the back one together, and then the front one together, and then place it right side facing each other, so that I can stitch the two seam sides together. Remember, the allowance we added is 1.5 inches, or you can measure this to be sure. So I'm going to stitch this down together at the two sides of the seam of the seam allowance. Okay, I was done stitching the two seams together. So the next thing I did is to remove the pins together for us to attach the Ankara fabric to the material. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this, and I think I have about 75 inches around the bodies. So I say yes, 75 inches. So I'm going to measure 75 inches length of Ankara, and then for the width width, and then for the length I have 5 inches. So that's 4 inches plus one each allowance for the folding of the down part. So remember we added 2 inches allowance for this down, and I've already used 1/2 inch to join the bodies to it. So we are left with 1.5 inches. That's what I just marked. So I'm going to go up again by 3 inches before joining the allowance. That's 1.5 inch for the folding, and then go up by 3 inches. So if your folding is 1 inch, you can go up, you just mark the 1 inch and then go up by 3 inches before attaching the Ankara. So I'm going to fold in by 1/2 inch and then sew on the line of the 3 inches all the way from where it starts to where it ends, and then also fold the other side, making sure that the fabric under it is relaxed and not folded inside. So I'm going to stitch this as well, all the way from where it starts to where it ends. Okay, I was done stitching, and I'm going to cut out the excess the excess allowance remaining. Then for the upper one at the bust area, I have 3 inches there, and then I measure the front part of it to make sure to know the measurement I'm going to cut out. Then I'm going to go up by 1 inch. Then the 2 inches I marked is for the Ankara fabric. Then I marked 1/2 inch away from the first one, and then mark 2 inches again for the second one. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm supposed to attach this before joining the two sides, but since it skipped my memory, I'm going to lose it again, then attach this before stitching it down with the allowance. Then for the rough edges at where for the Ankara that did not enter the armhole area, what I did is just to fold in the rough edges and then stitch it down before stitching the seam allowance down that I opened earlier down again. So the next thing I'm going to do is to fold the down part with the 1.5 inches allowance remaining round to where it stopped. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the two bags together and then stitch it down, leaving the zipper allowance open, and then go ahead to attach my zip. So this is it after I was done attaching my zip. It's looking beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and then go for my coat shoulder. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Hit on the subscribe button. Please. So for the coat shoulder, I wanted it to be 2 inches down from the shoulder, and after that I have about 3 inches to the armhole. That's what I measured. So to cut out the coat shoulder, I'm going to cut this out with my round armhole measurements, and my round armhole measurement is about 9 inches. And remember, this is not going to be a fitted sleeve, so that's why it looks big. It's not going to be a fitted one. So I marked my 7 inches plus 2 inches allowance for folding of the upper and the down part. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark these 3 inches, my measurements plus allowance. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark these 3 inches in a slanted form to meet my cap side, which is about 3 inches down. And then I marked my measurements and connected it. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold the rough edges of the the up and the down part of the sleeve. Then the next thing I'm going to do after folding the two sleeve, the up and the down part of it, is to fold it together and then stitch this down with my allowance to meet the where the armhole started. And this is it after stitching it down. So I'm going to turn it to the right side and ready for me to attach it to the bodice. Okay, to attach this to my body, I'm going to pin down the two armhole together, the, matching the two seam line together. Still pin it down with my needle and then pin all the way to where the sleeve ends, and I'll do the same thing for the other side. Then take it to my machine and stitch it down. And that's all for the style. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Share my videos, please. Invite your family and friends, please. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.